Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm Mr. G. This is Linus down here. This is Zoe. We're ready to talk about some math.
But before we can start, I have some official corrections to make from episode 4, thanks to this viewer who noticed that yesterday's date was supposed to be Thursday, March 19th, not Thursday, March 18th. And just as a quick explanation for those who may be confused, Wednesday was the 18th. And usually how dates work is if it's Wednesday, the next day is Thursday. So that part I got right. Good so far. The problem is here. If Wednesday was the 18th, how dates work is you add 1 to the date. So Thursday should be the 19th, and that's just a great job by this viewer. Wonderful job noticing my error. This should be 19th. Sorry for any of you who were confused. Today is the 20th. Yesterday was the 19th. We did not skip a day. Now, correction number 2 comes in the puzzle, and it was a grammar error that I also said out loud. I said I gave each of my dog $1. This should, of course, say I gave each of my dogs, because I have 2 dogs. So it should say dogs. And I'm very sorry for this error. Nobody submitted a correct answer for this problem, and I suspect that the problem was that grammatical error, because otherwise people definitely would have gotten this puzzle right. But for my error, nobody was able to get it right, and for that I apologize. But we'll talk about this puzzle a little bit later on. Those of you who have been in a class with me before know I love talking about mistakes. Mistakes are completely necessary. I always say that I'm not a great mathematician. What I'm really good at doing is making mistakes. So I've become really good at middle school math and some of high school math because I've made so many mistakes doing it that I know what to look for now. But I am not someone who sits down at a math problem and immediately knows what to do. The only way I figure something out is by making a lot of errors and asking a lot of questions. So if you're watching this video and you think you're not a math student or you're not a strong math student, I want to beg you to stop thinking that way and instead just think, look to make mistakes, question what your mistakes are, and learn from them. Because as this quote says, your best teacher is your last mistake. And that is something that I believe very much. The only way we learn in class and the only way we learn anywhere is by making mistakes and then asking questions about them. So keep making errors and then keep asking questions. Since it's Friday, we're going to take a break from looking at the news, and we're going to instead look at some comics and memes. We're going to do this every Friday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the meme, and then I'm going to explain the joke. Because I was told a long time ago that the best joke is one you have to explain at the end. And I hope you guys agree. So let's read this first comic. We've got a teacher here. This teacher is saying, there exists some number x, okay, so we're talking about algebra, such that f of x equals g of f of 0 equals 1. Ooh, we got some high school function notation going on here. That's cool. Oh yes, somewhere out there, it exists. Again, we're talking about it, a number x. So we got a number that's out there that exists. And we must find it and destroy it. Oh, interesting. Grab your swords, students. We ride. And then our teacher has a sword here. And then one student saying, I think I'm in the wrong math class. The other one saying, I'm finally in the right one. Wow, all right. That was a funny comic. I hope we all laughed. Those of you who are students at my school, this comic strip reminds me of one teacher in particular. If this teacher was a math teacher, I could imagine them taking out a sword and trying to hunt for a missing number. I think we all know who I'm talking about. If you don't go to my school, too bad. Sorry. Our second meme is a graph of the winners of Miss Universe, and you'll notice Earth is responsible for every single winner of Miss Universe. The entire rest of our universe has never won a Miss Universe. So if you're ever feeling down, just think, at least I'm on the planet that has won every single Miss Universe pageant. I'm not a huge fan of pageants, but it's good to know we're winning them anyway. Next is a tweet from a man named David Jerlink. I don't know who he is, but he looks very smart. He's got his hands folded and he's got a stethoscope around his neck, so he's a genius. And he says, my 13-year-old son told me that when he hits 99 pounds, he wants to eat 1 pound of nachos on his own, so he can be 1% nacho. That is hilarious. First of all, nachos are delicious. Second of all, let's look at the math. If you weigh 99 pounds, and you eat 1 pound of nachos, you will be 100 total pounds. one of those pounds will be the nachos that you ate. So you will be 1 out of 100 nachos, or 1% nachos. That's fantastic. That would be fantastic. And I guess you would be 99% human if you were 1% nacho. That's cool. I'm going to try that. But I have to lose a lot of weight. Meme number 4 has dogs and cats in it. Always great. It says, me calculating the square root of 25. We got this guy picking up 5. This sad-looking cat on the ground labeled -5. Oh, and then we're just, oh no, look at that sad cat just forgotten because nobody remembers that -5 is also a square root of 25. If you have no idea why this joke is hilarious, let me explain it to you real quickly. The square root of 25 means which one number, when you multiply it by itself, gives you 25, or when you square it, gives you 25. Everybody always thinks, well, 5 squared, that's 25, because 5 times 5 equals 25. Nobody remembers that also -5 squared equals 25, because -5 times -5 equals positive 25. So when everybody talks about the square root, they're always thinking about the positive square root, and this sad little negative square root, forgotten and alone. So next time you have to take the square root, don't forget about the sad cat on the floor. That makes sense. The final meme of the day is more about math class than math, but again, if you've ever been in my class, or most teachers I think struggle with this shape, I can't draw this shape. I don't know how people do it. If I go really slow, I can sort of get it, but it's not pretty. And so it always winds up looking something like this, and it's terrible. So I think this is, who is that? No, I know who it is. He is from Toronto. His name is Drake. Yes, I got it, and I didn't Google it. That is Drake, and in this one he's like, oh, no, thank you. And this one he's like, yes. This is a meme from, I believe, 2012, so it's very, very old. Still good, though. Still good. This is what my squigglies look like. I wish I could draw them like this, but I can't. Let's discuss our puzzle from yesterday, because I think it made a lot of people's brains hurt. At least it did make my brain hurt when I first read it. So let's take a look. I borrowed $50 from my dog Zoe. I borrowed $50 from my dog Linus. It's a total of $100 borrowed. I bought a calculator that cost $97 and had 3 left. Here's my $3 change. I gave each of my dogs $1 and owed them each $49. Because I owed them $50 and I gave them each $1, so I was down to $49. If I add those two numbers together, the $49 that I owe each dog, that's $98 total. If you add $1 to that $98, it becomes $99. Where did the extra $1 go? A lot of people are like, why didn't this add up to 100? It's so weird. It should. You do the 49 plus the 49, you get 98. You add the $1 to it, you get 99. Why isn't it 100? Where'd the extra $1 go? People were panicking. My phone was blowing up off the hook. People were banging on my door, trying to kick down the door, and I said, no, I can't answer. I have to socially distance. I can't talk about this puzzle with you. I have to make a video. You'll find out tomorrow. And so I told no one the answer, and now we can finally talk about it. This riddle is terrible, and the reason is because it's just tricking you. It's throwing a lot of numbers at you, and then it takes 2 random numbers, adds them together, and says, oh, look, $98 plus $1 is 99. Why isn't it 100? It's not 100 because you're adding 2 numbers that have nothing to do with themselves. So let's talk about it a little bit more. Just as a reminder, I made a table down here to organize our information. The total money owed. I borrowed $100 total. I paid $2 back, which means I still owe $98. That math works, right? We paid $2 back. We still owe $98 because we borrowed a total of $100. There's no dollar missing here. Now let's break down that $100 more to see where every dollar went. I spent $97 on the jacket. I gave $1 to Zoe. I gave $1 to Linus. And then I kept that $1 extra to myself. That's $100. There is no missing dollar. This problem, the only reason it's tricky is because there are so many numbers that it confuses your brain into not realizing that the question is asking doesn't make any sense. They took this $1 that I kept, which is part of the $100, and they just added it to the amount of money I still owed. Those are two unrelated numbers. So to add them together, there's no real reason. You're just adding two random numbers together and then saying, oh, they don't add up to 100. That means there's a dollar missing. That's not, it's only a confusingly worded puzzle. And I did not know the answer. I will be honest. I had to look this up because I was like, but wait a minute. Where did the extra dollar go? Someone stole my dollar. But I figured I looked it up. There's some great explanations of this puzzle online that are way clearer than mine. So feel free to Google where is the missing dollar if you're just like still confused and you need to know. But this is the best way that I can think about it. There was no missing dollar. This is where all the dollars went. Puzzle number 5 is an oldie but a goodie. You're on an island with your 3 best friends, a wolf, a cat, and a mouse. You need to get off the island, but you only have a boat that can fit you and 1 additional animal. If you leave the wolf alone with the wolf eats the cat. But if you leave the cat alone with the cat will eat the mouse. How can you get yourself and all 3 animals safely off the island? That's your question. Finally, some positivity practice before we head into our weekend. This is a quote that I always come back to when I'm feeling a bit stressed or having some anxiety. It's don't cry over the past. It's gone. Don't stress about the future. It hasn't arrived. Live in the present and make it beautiful. This reminds me a lot of the quotes that we've talked about this week, but the 2 big things that I always am reminded when I read this quote is that I do often worry about the past or worry about the future. And that has never made the present better. I have never made anything better by worrying. So instead of worrying about things that have already happened or things that might happen, let's worry about what's happening right now in front of us and live in the present and make it beautiful. Let's do everything we can to enjoy every moment and not be so stressed all the time. There's a lot of things to be stressed about. Those things aren't going anywhere. We don't always have to worry about them. So let's practice some positivity. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see everyone on Monday for episode 6. If you have any questions over the weekend or you're thinking about anything, you can always reach me in the comments or anywhere else you know how to contact me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on Monday.